A very good morning to you. It's another beautiful Monday morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Motivation Monday on Jam 316. My name is James Okumu. So glad you took the time to join us today. Have you ever lost an opportunity simply because you didn't have confidence? I'm thinking of a scenario where you go for an interview. You've gone for a job interview and, you walk in and there's this panel of people who were supposed to interview you for this job, and you step in and you look at them and you are intimidated and your confidence just goes from 100 to 10% in less than a second, and they begin to ask you questions, and it's not that you don't know the answers to those questions, and it's not that you're not qualified, but because your confidence level has gone so low, you're finding it even hard to express yourself. I find that in life you have people who they may not have the skills or the credentials, but their confidence level is so high it just opens doors for them. And then I find there's another group of people who may have the education, they may have the skills, but because their confidence level is low, they miss out on opportunities. They don't speak up, they don't know how to express themselves, And so this morning, we want to look at confidence and how to build your confidence, because if you're not confident, how then do you overcome? How then do you get to experience all that you are supposed to be experiencing? How then do you get to have all that you're supposed to have? How do you seize opportunities if you don't have confidence? That's what we're going to be looking at today, how to build confidence. If this is one of those areas in your life where you're having an issue, especially sometimes when it's time to stand before people and say something, maneno inapotea yote, you wonder, what am I supposed to say? If you find that you're challenged in the area of confidence, hey, feel free to ask questions today. 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. I've got an amazing guest. I will be introducing her to us in the next short while, and so I'm inviting you to be a part of this. We're talking about confidence today, and we are confident we'll be able to have a serious discussion that will help you in case you're one of those people who you really need a boost where your confidence is concerned. But before we get into that, Eden Tea, finest garden tea, available in several flavors: Eden green tea, Eden lemon tea, Eden purple tea, Eden ginger tea, and Eden premium tea, available at leading outlets at affordable prices. If you've never tried Eden tea, you need to try it out because it is absolutely unbelievable. It is the finest garden tea. Well, here we are today. I've got an amazing guest who's been patient enough with us as we were sorting out our technical issues, but we are good to go. Wahiga Gashinga, how are you doing?
I am well, thank you, James. It's a great morning.
Thank you for your patience.
Welcome.
Great. Let's jump into our discussion so that, at least we have some time to be able to discuss something. When we talk about confidence, what is confidence?
If I talk about confidence is trust. Mm-hmm. The level of trust you have in yourself to be able to take care of life affairs, being take care of tomorrow, your family, your relationships, mm-hmm. your business. That trust, that you have that capacity to do that, is what I call confidence.
Okay.
The belief, yes, in yourself.
The belief in yourself. I'm just wondering, yes, why does it seem like there are people who are so confident? I mean, their self-confidence is off the roof, while others, it seems like you really have to pump them up and encourage them. Is it that this is something we are born with, or what happens?
We are all born with confidence.
Yeah.
But somehow life, as we encounter life, we have experiences that either boost our confidence or withdraw the little confidence we have. Mm-hmm. The people we interact with, the environment we are in, the activities we get into, the challenges we face. Like the year 2020, I'm sure, was a challenge for so many people. Yeah. So the question is, how have you interacted with the challenge or with the year? So to say about confidence, I think because of that, our confidence gets a beaten. Mm-hmm. And the question is, do you have people around you, especially when you're growing up, who boost it, or do you have people who suppress it? So we are at different levels, and we face life as we are.
When you
Yes.
talk about childhood, and people boosting it or people, taking away from it, can you tell us maybe a few specific incidences that can lower somebody's confidence or affect somebody's confidence?
Okay, good question there, James. You see, leadership. I talk about leadership or
Yes.
people in superior positions. If you have people in superior position who are wounded, they are people who are escaping from their own reality,
Yeah.
and they inflict the same wounds on us as we grow up because they don't see who we are. They don't see our capability
Yes.
because they don't even value themselves. So they are wondering, what is this thing that you think you want to be valued? So such people, when we interact with them, they silence us because they have a sense of comfort. They have a sense of power because they don't want to be disturbed. They want to continue with what they think is best for them. So such people suppress the self-confidence in us.
Okay. So
Yes.
confidence, low confidence, how does it affect somebody's life? If I'm confident, how does it affect my life? If I lack confidence, how does it affect my life?
I would want to get to a story, and perhaps you're familiar with that story. It's the story of David and Goliath.
Oh.
I sometimes think that it should have been the story of Saul and Goliath because Saul was the king.
Yes.
But apparently, it became the story of David and Goliath. And I'm looking at a king here called Saul, who was the strongest, the tallest, the person with the most artillery.
Yes.
In fact, he had won most battles. But when he faced a giant from an enemy, he forgot all his attributes. And, he behaved like a toothless dog. And you see, that is one person. Then we have another one.
Yeah.
A shepherd boy sent by the father to deliver food to his brothers. And here's somebody insulting the army and says, no, this cannot be happening. And what did the two people do? Saul withdrew, but David went forth. So what I want to bring out is that when we have confidence, we don't withdraw our strengths. We don't withdraw from our strength zone. We don't withdraw from our journey. On the other hand, when we lack confidence, we move away from what we should be doing and we go to look for safety. A very dangerous place to be.
In your everyday work as a leadership coach,
Yes.
when you have a leader who lacks confidence, how does this affect the people that he is leading?
Leadership is so key, and it's good that you've raised it up right now because what leaders do is that they can inspire the confidence in you even though you don't have, or with, like I had said earlier, withdraw it. So what happens is when a leader lacks confidence, he is so scared about himself, not even about you. He wants to prove a point to his bosses, to his seniors, to the world. And so what he does is that he must shine at all costs.
Yes.
He cannot look bad. So then you have to get the beating. So when you shine, he takes the credit. When he fails, he dumps it on you. And at the same time, harasses you every day because he feels threatened, especially if you have some strength. So he has to quieten you so that he can feel that he is in charge. So at the end of the day, you have people who are disgruntled, people who are not happy with their work, and people who really want to lock themselves in because they don't love work. It's a sad day.
So
yes,
they kind of create a toxic environment.
That is so true. That is so true, James. The environment becomes so toxic. People don't want to work. And again, what happens is that when people become disgruntled, they only give you the basic minimum. Even though they have capacity to give you more, because they're not happy, they give you only for what you ask for. So in essence, everyone is losing in that environment.
Yes. What about the flip side? What about when you have a leader who's confident in who they are and their abilities? How does it affect the team of people that he is leading?
It is a very good environment to work in because even when you come in and you lack confidence, what happens is is that you start believing in yourself. You start seeing things in yourself you didn't know exist. And you want to try. And if you have been hiding, just trying to be good, putting on a mask so that your boss continue pays you, then you can remove the mask because it's not necessary. So you feel safe to be yourself, feel safe to try things, and the sky becomes the limit.
That's good. That's good. Before we talk about some practical ways in which a person can boost their confidence, I'm just wondering, sometimes when people are confident, it can come across as if they're prideful. And so I'm wondering, what's the difference between the two? I mean, I've met people who are so confident, either in their abilities, or who they are as an individual. They not need validation from anybody. They know how to express themselves. But sometimes you look at them and you wonder, is this really confidence or are you just being prideful? So what's the difference between the two?
Okay, confidence. When I look at confidence, it's the ability to put yourself in order, the ability to be in control. For example, have you ever seen, I don't know whether you watch movies, They're real dangerous people. They don't even talk. They're so quiet.
Yeah.
They know what they can do.
Yes. But
on the flip side, when you're not sure about yourself, you want to keep people very far away from you because the risk they pose to you in case they get very close.
Yes.
So you find that instances where you find people where they feel threatened by the environment, they have to keep showing off their muscle, they have to keep indicating what they can do, and in essence, sometimes bully, or and then see what happens in those elements in those circumstances is that the person is fearing. They don't want you to know they are fearing, so they mask it. They mask it with a big voice, with harsh words, sometimes with glaring things they put on themselves so that you may think they are confident, but in real sense, they are trying to cover up their lack of confidence.
Oh, so are you saying that pride could actually be a cover-up for lack of confidence?
Yes, pride is a cover-up for lack of confidence.
Ooh.
When you are confident, you don't need to show anyone. It's just like when you need to take a walk right now from your desk to the toilet. You're not thinking about it. You just wake up. You don't tell anyone you're waking up.
Yes.
You're sure you're going there. So when I need, and you see, I'll put it something. What happens is one of the rocks of confidence is something I call identity, a very strong belief in who you are.
Okay.
And what that helps you in is that when you walk into environment, you don't dissolve into any environment you get in. Because you have a strong identity. When you walk into the environment, you create it into what you want it to be. So chances that you don't have that strong identity and you are feeling threatened to move into somebody's field, then you have to keep pushing away in whichever way that makes them, put them off so that they don't come as close to you as they would want.
I think you've brought up a very interesting and very important aspect, and I'm looking at it from the point of view of Christianity and being a Christian. And sometimes I keep wondering, why is it that we don't have, as Christians, we don't have the kind of influence that we are meant to be having? And so could it be that we are not very confident in who we are? So we are kind of like undercover Christians. We don't want to talk about it that much. We are not confident in who we are. I don't know what you think.
If I come to Christianity, I think I have been in that position where you read the Bible, Genesis 1, you say what you are created to be king, to rule over the world.
Yes.
But of course, when you look at yourself, there's nothing reflecting that.
Yes.
And you see, so sometimes it looks like a rhetorical thing to just talk about, and not necessarily something that you are or it is that it's supposed to be. So I hear you very well in terms of Christianity.
Yeah.
And I think it's the issue of how we relate with the challenges we face. And sometimes we confuse not taking this self-leadership, not taking responsibility of our situation and push it to God. And he already gave us the mandate. He told us, take the mandate, your kings, rule over the earth. But when you have chickened out, you don't want to say you have chickened out. You want to you want to shift the blame. I'm leaving it to God. But he has already left it to you. So I think it's an aspect. I don't know what influences that. I know that it's the leadership. or it is the fear that makes us chicken out.
Yeah.
But yes, that state is actually there. But I think as Christians, we need to move to the point of taking responsibility after identifying our identity, because the world needs each one of us.
Wow, wonderful. It's Motivation Monday. We are talking about building your confidence. If you have any questions for us, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. We're hanging out with leadership coach and trainer Wahiga Gishinga, and she's giving us some tips and information to help us become more confident. I'm telling you, when you're confident, sometimes doors open up for you and you're thinking, hey, okay. So be confident enough to ask your questions. 20316 WhatsApp lines 0786 316 316. My name is James Okumu. It is Motivation Monday. Today we are talking about building your confidence. If you have any questions for us, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Today we get to hang out with leadership coach and trainer Wahiga Gishinga with us on Zoom, giving us some very good information. I have a question for you, Wahinga, this morning. Somebody is asking, this is Joseph. Joseph is saying, growing up, I was always told how I'm not good enough. I was never good enough for anything. And so even now in my adulthood, I'm always second guessing myself. I always think I'm not good enough. How do I overcome that and build confidence?
Okay, a good question there, Joseph. I know that the box of perfection that people hold on to us and demand that we fit into it and deny our uniqueness. And so every time that we engage with such people, then we can never be good enough. And sometimes we never choose where to get born. We get born where God chooses we get born. Yes. But I think now that we are at this stage of life, it's still our responsibility to go to the next level, to fulfill our mandate. And yes, you can take care of yourself from now that you recognize that and build a different life. And I look at it from two perspectives. What can you do to your external world and what can you do to your internal world? And I think beginning with the internal world, because like what you have lacked, like what I have heard from your question is an identity. You have no clue, especially who you are, because the comments from the people around you has tainted your image on who you should be. And I think it is beginning by asking those questions. Who am I?
Okay.
What am I good at? What can I do with ease? Even though it doesn't please everyone, if it pleases me, at least it's a first step towards identifying self. And looking at that differently is you can either do it yourself, read a book, or you can engage a coach who helps you in the process. And the second thing is taking care of the emotional element of that association. Very because important. There are hard feelings. There's a feeling that you're less. And I think it can't be ignored, because if you suppress it, it keep popping up when you don't need it to show up. So the question is, how do you deal with that? And I think you need to deal with the emotions that come up, especially when you feel not good enough. And the best thing to do is to forgive, release the baggage. Say, they did their best, whether it was a parent, a teacher. But I forgive you and release you. Because what that does, then it releases your energy to learn something new, to learn you, to embrace love. And so you're not hiding because you're not good enough, because then you move forward to get help. You move forward towards people who have confidence. There's something about moving towards people who have confidence.
Yes.
Is that it rubs on you. It rubs on you and you begin believing in yourself. And I can go back to that story of David and Goliath. Immediately David beheaded the giant. Everyone else stood up. The soldiers that were at one point, they had fretted because their king had fretted. They became so bold. They became so courageous, and they moved forward. They moved forward. So deal with those two elements, and I think you will come out better.
Okay. Another question here says, I'm a very quiet lady, and wherever I go, people despise me for it. I really don't have friends. What do I do? She's very quiet.
The question is why you're quiet, because being quiet is different from moving away from people. Those are two different things.
Okay.
Yes, you can be quiet because that's your nature, but you still have friends. But they know that at this point I can't get X, or I can't get Wajiko, I can't get Atieno.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the question is, where are you quiet? Where are you lonely? Where are you hiding from the world? What is it that you don't want people to see? And I will say something about confidence.
Yeah.
There are certain thieves of confidence, and one of those is the past. What has happened in your past that you're still so scared about today about? Because each time you stay in your past cocoon today, you still today. So you're still hiding because you feel unworthy. You don't want people to know what happened, and you don't want to face the bully. So you have retreated from your strength zone and staying in a safe space. The question is, what are you afraid to lose? If you answer that question, then you can you evaluate the challenge that you're facing, and it's easy to engage a coach, easy even for yourself to deal with it because you know the problem. So I think that's how I would address it.
Okay. So tell us what are some key pointers we need to be aware of when we are talking about boosting our confidence?
I think it's the issue of self-evaluation and how worthy you think you are, how your self-image, how you feel ready to tackle your tasks, to go forth towards your dreams.
Yes.
And it's very good to keep evaluation, especially now that we are at the beginning of the year, so that if you feel, I wanted to do X, but I want to procrastinate it, or I give an excuse why I can't do it, that means I'm afraid. And fear is a very good thing. Fear helps us point into what needs to get addressed, especially our area of weaknesses. And what I would say is when you find yourself either doubting yourself, giving excuses, or procrastinating something, yet it is so dear to you, the question is, what is underlying there? And you can do something about it. And what I say is the fear points to what needs to get addressed. I had talked about emotions area, deal with them. So the other thing is, if you feel weak, what can you do every day to boost your strength? For example, if you want to become the best writer and you're shying away, what can you do every day towards that direction? If you want to gain muscle and become a big guy, the question is, can you start lifting weights every day? And you shall see yourself move from one place to the other. I think that's how I would respond to it.
I love what you've said, because sometimes we feel like we have no say in the matter. I was just born like this. This is just the way I am, and there's nothing much I can do. So the fact that you're telling us you can actually work on it, for me, that is the key that a lot of people need to be able to get out of these cages most of the time we've placed ourselves in. I usually tell people that I was very quiet when I was growing up. Very, very quiet. I know my mom is nodding her head. Very quiet. Even as a child, I was very quiet. And for me to be in the media, something must have happened. I was very timid, very quiet, but just like you're saying, you work on it, and as you work on it, then you become better and better, and you become more confident in expressing yourself in those areas you thought that you couldn't. There's something else I want you to talk to us about before we get out of time. There's the whole issue of the imposter syndrome, where sometimes you get yourself in a position, or you get yourself in a community, or you get yourself somewhere where you have been given a position, or you have reached a certain, you have gained certain stuff in your life, but you're so afraid to express them or to use them or to function in that position, because on the inside of you, you feel like you are an imposter. You feel like you don't qualify. You feel like, how do you deal with that?
Okay, that's a very good question, because it happens to so many people.
Yes.
And you see, that's why they start wearing bling bling, start showing off, because they don't want to be found out. So they want to hide something. So, and it goes back to the backbone of confidence, which is identity. Who am I?
Yes.
Because if I am confident, if I am in connection with who I am, then I'm okay to express it.
Yes.
If what I have is acquired things will go. And that is a risk that we get. And so I think go back to connecting with yourself, getting an identity. I know you can't do it in a day because there are things you have been told you are by others, which have nothing to do with who you are. And I like that we're discussing this in the element of, because there's a lot, if you read the Bible, there's a lot of information about who you are and who you should be. And the question is, how do you cultivate it down to you personally, so that you're not taking, let me tell you something. The world has taught us, there's a checkbook, or is it a checklist that the world has given us on what you need to have or need to do so that you qualify to be a successful person. And mainly that we lose ourselves trying to tick those boxes. So you're told you should get to school, you should complete Form 4, get a certificate, get a degree, get married. And so we are always busy trying to tick those boxes and lose who we are. Because I look at it this way. If I am meant to be a swimmer, do I need a degree? I don't. But I'm in a society that tells me I can't talk unless I have a degree. Then I'm likely to lose my self-esteem. And even though I get so much money, I might find myself trying to pretend or trying to show off that I have acquired to fill in a gap within me that feels not achieved.
Okay.
So that's what happens. And so when you get that position, it is not all wrong. I think the question is, how can I build myself? How can I build myself internally to own it? Because if you don't own it, it will still go. So own it from the within. Get value for it, get a purpose for it. Because the other thing is this, what do you live for?
Yeah.
What is your dream? Because then if you apply your life towards what you live for every day, you get meaning for your life. So then you use the things that you have to achieve to support you do that. Then you're not trying to protect them from people who may take away or things like that.
Okay.
So
earlier on, we talked about somebody in leadership who is who lacks confidence and who is insecure. So I have a question here from Esther. Esther is asking, how do you deal with a leader or with a boss who's insecure? If they're always, just like you said earlier, when things go wrong, it is me. When there's a triumph, it is they are the ones who came up with the triumph. So, how do I ensure that this relationship does not end up damaging me?
It's not a good place to be in, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But then it calls for a lot of energy outside doing your work to stand up for yourself. Or you find that if the 40% of the time you're fighting the boss and only working the remaining time. So you need a lot of now. I think you need to stand up for yourself. Don't accept to be suppressed. And I think in today's environment, there are many avenues of reaching out. Especially, do they have a boss? Do you have a HR department?
Yeah.
And as long as you're not on the wrong, I think, because you see what you're doing is not reporting the boss. It's because what happens. Let me tell you, when people lack trust in themselves, they need help. So when you stand up for yourself, you're telling them, please also stand up for yourself. Own your power. Own your position. Stop coming to grab the little I have to use.
Yes.
So you need to stand up for yourself, say no. If it doesn't work, look at other avenues throughout the organization. Is it the HR department? Is it the senior of that person? Then have conversation so that you are in a safe environment.
Okay. Another question here from Kathy. Kathy is asking, can taking on responsibility help to boost one's confidence? Because it seems like when you're not confident, you shy away from responsibility. So they're wondering, if I gain the courage to take up more responsibility, can that be a confidence booster?
Certainly. I think it's the way to go. Like I said, I think, for example, for you to be able to go forth, especially in this new year, 2021.
Yeah.
Important to have goals. It's important to have dreams. And the question is, having a dream is one thing. Having a goal is one thing.
Yes.
But to achieve the success, you need to take action. Never underestimate the little victories per week, per month.
Yes.
Because I even going back to the story of David. You know what David told himself? I have persevered the growth of a bear. I have persevered the roar of the lion.
Yes.
Put this in front of me. So it changes your tune, it changes the conversation you have with yourself, because then you have some reference that shows you're a victor, some reference that shows that you can conquer the world. So it boosts your confidence to even move to higher goals and outdo yourself.
Okay. One more. We have time for one more question. This one is coming in from a parent, and they're asking, how can I boost confidence in my child as a parent?
As a parent, boosting confidence, I think it begins with yourself.
Oh.
Because we give to our children who we are.
Yes.
So if we lack confidence, we actually try to live our life through our children. And that is the greatest risk there is in life. Because then they will never be good enough. They will never match up to what you want. You want them to be good, but because the essence of parenting is embracing the child. And then they unfold for who they are. And I think the greatest confidence is of a parent to be patient enough, courageous enough, even when they see errors, not to pull off the child because of the error, but try to understand them, try to see the good in them and magnify. Because when you see the good in the child, even when they have wrongs, they correct the wrongs. So I think it boils down to the parent. Build your confidence first. Then you'll be able to deal with the child.
Okay. I think we need to say something about this before we ramp it up. Comparison.
Yes.
Comparison. Today we live in a social media age where everybody is throwing out their lifestyle or their purported lifestyle for everybody to see. So how does comparison affect confidence?
I keep saying, mango or banana, we are all fruit,
Yes.
We are all fruit. But you see, there's that sense of saying, I'm more yellow, I am taller, I am round. And so you can imagine when you compare yourself, even look at it, even like when you're a fish and you're supposed to be in the ocean.
Yeah.
And you're a monkey and you're supposed to be on a tree. Can you imagine comparing? You have to kill yourself so that you can match up.
Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. So that boils down to the identity. Do you believe in yourself? Do you have a strong rock of who you are? Then you cannot be moved. If you are yellow, good riddance. I'm happy for you.
Yes.
But I am a mango and I am happy to be who I am. And I think that's the bottom line of confidence, is having a strong identity. Then you cannot be moved.
I love that. And even back to the parenting issue, I think that's something we also need to learn as parents to teach our children, because we are different, and there's beauty in diversity. I mean, can you imagine a world where all of us were the same? It would be such a boring world. But the diversity, the diversity in skin color, the diversity in personality, the diversity in just how we process thoughts, how we are gifted. Man, it brings fullness in life, And so I keep telling people, man, love who you are, embrace who you are, and utaona maisha itakuwa mzuri. What's your parting shot as we finish?
My parting shot is 2021 is here. It's a clean slate. It's a gift. It's a privilege. Do not let what didn't happen in the previous year cast a shadow over 2021. Have a goal. Take small steps towards it. And if you fight that you lack in confidence, tilt. Choose what to do. See what you need to do. If you can't get help, see a coach, but don't sit down and withdraw yourself from your strength zone.
Awesome. Wow. Leadership coach and trainer Wahinga, thank you so much for your thoughts this morning. A bit of technical issues when we were beginning, but all things work together for good. I believe that what we've been able to discuss today has been beneficial to somebody. We definitely have to do this again. Well, I'm out of time for today. Thank you so much for being a part of Motivation Monday on Jam 316. We'll pick up this conversation in the coming weeks, and I pray, even as our guest has told us today, my friend, forget about 2020. Hiyo imeenda. There's nothing you can do about it. 2021 is here. It's already rolling. Know who you are, Embrace who you are, be confident in who you are, and let's go out there and accomplish what God has called us to do.
This and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.